All right, y'all. This is 100 Days of Truth, day 9. And I'm posting a vlog today instead of an episode because I realized that I recording all of the episodes and, not necessarily bringing stuff back up, but I think the act of saying what was true for my former selves, speaking about the feelings, the thoughts, the narratives, and the beliefs that I used to carry a lot of shame around. I'm finding that process is kind of like kicking up. It's making me feel nervous. I don't think nervous is the right word. I think maybe in the last 1 or 2 episodes that I recorded, I was surprised to know and observe, like, ooh, this is hard for me to say. I'm feeling like my skin is off, and I kind of feel ashamed about some of the things, and which surprises me because I've worked through so much of it, and I know healing is non-linear and like things will come up again over and over. And I'm finding that, I have made my peace and my personal acceptance of so many of the themes that I have talked about and will continue to talk about on the show. And I'm starting to realize that this show is kind of another opportunity for another level of healing, because I'm speaking the things that I have come to realize out, and I'm speaking it outside of myself, outside of the relationship I have with myself, outside of the relationship I have with people I know and trust in safe spaces, particularly through support groups or friends, people who have been vetted and that I trust my vulnerable self with. I think that that was the level. I don't know. I'm trying to describe it. That was the realm with which I had a lot of acceptance and peace in front of myself and in front of those other people. And I'm finding that I feel really uncomfortable with sharing those things to you, a person I potentially don't even know, that I can't make eye contact with, that I can't feel your energy on your reaction, which has been interesting to note because I started to question myself and question my intentions for the show. Like, am I doing this for a random stranger's approval? Am I doing this as a way to get your validation? Am I doing this as a way to get something from the world that I'm not giving myself? And those questions, they made me nervous. More so, they gave me really cause for concern, because I was like, damn, like, I'm still doing external validation shit. And after sitting with those questions, I was able to realize, like, oh, this is just like really hard, and this is really scary. And I am doing this because I feel compelled to speak my truth. I am doing this because there are so many aspects about surviving intimate partner violence, and more so, there's so many aspects about the healing journey and what comes, the inner turmoil and the inner battle that comes from choosing yourself first possibly for the first time ever, as I discovered. You know, the day I left is when the healing began. And which is an interesting thought because I left and tried to leave multiple times. So that's a journaling exercise and maybe a forthcoming episode. But yeah, it's I would say the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I think that a lot of people, this is why like I respect and admire survivors so much. The hardest thing I've ever done in my life was be in and stay in a abusive relationship. The second hardest thing I've ever done is because being in an abusive relationship is exhausting. It's time, all-encompassing, time-consuming. It's expensive. And it's draining. But the second hardest thing I've ever done is walk away and hold myself up long enough to look at me and to take me in and to accept what I see without judgment. And, you know, that in full earnest might have started when I left, but it's really like a lifelong journey, you know, which, I hated that so much. I thought it was so cliche and so trite. Healing is lifelong. I just wanted to get my healing done and be over it so that I can move on with my life, get back on the market, and just, I remember feeling irritated, realizing how much healing I had to do because I understood that it meant like, wow, this is going to take this much time. And like, I'm already in my mid-30s. I feel differently about it now. Now I'm at a place where I'm like, oh, I love the company of me. And I love the company of me so much. I find that sometimes when I'm in conversation with other people or in other spaces, I feel, especially if I'm realizing haven't been intentional about like the space or the conversation or, whatever, or something happened by chance. But I find that I feel constantly interrupted. I have this feeling of being interrupted by the conversation I'm having with myself. Like, I feel the sweet joy of being with just me and deeply prefer it. And genuinely I'm proud to say only really spend time with people and in experiences that enhance the joy of being with myself. And things that detract from it really struggle to keep my attention. And is it a struggle because that's not something I want to learn or know how to do. I'm not pouring effort into being in those types of spaces or with those people. But yeah, I think I've posted at this point maybe 5 or 6 episodes, and it is exciting, and I realize has been scary. Just, putting my former selves out there, letting you see the different versions of Sable that existed and that continue to exist within me, but it's felt very scary showing and revealing to you versions of myself that are that I feel aware of. Like, even though I accept her, I I guess I'm still kind of afraid of the judgment, or I'm wary of the judgment that others and society might have about for her, those versions of me. Which, as I say it, it's actually kind of like a huge relief, because I realize that fuck that. Like it as I am saying it, I'm releasing it and it's transmuting, because it just feels like a crazy thing to worry about. And it feels like a crazy thing to worry about because of my why, and because I know it exists in the world. That's what compelled me to do this show and podcast, because I wanted to create something for other survivors, for myself, and for other survivors who were navigating these yucky, uncomfortable places that don't often get light, but take up so much energy and space. And so, yeah, I'm realizing, I think moving forward, I'm just going to keep breathing through it and slowing down. And just when I notice a feeling of shame or a thought that concerns myself with perspectives and opinions that are none of my business, I'm going to say it, so that one, it's exposed to the light, and two, hopefully that releases it. At best, releases it, at the very least, lessens its power and the space it takes up for me, and at best, totally releases it. So yeah, that's 100 Days of Truth, day 9. I had to put a little pause on my episodes because I was just noticing more and more the growing discomfort that I had with talking about my past selves and how I used to relate to things. And I've noticed a need to get to the part where I talk about how I've changed and how I've grown and what I understand to be true now. And I think, had I not paused and gave into that compulsion, I would have, undermined my intention for this show, which is to get up in the nooks and crannies of the discomfort, to normalize it for you if you relate to any of what I'm saying, and also to release it. So thanks for listening. Day 9, y'all. Keep tuning in. Tomorrow we'll be back to our regular episodes. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.